You are listening to the Push Media Podcast Network.
This is good shit.
Fauci lied, and Joe Budden's bi. And only one of those are true. I like to start shows off with limericks. So when I actually do so, I'll be sure to point it out because this was not one of them. A limerick is something no one really fucking knows what it is. You think you know, but you do not. Is it a sandwich? Is it a poem? Who knows? Joe Budden's bisexual. We have bigger things to concern ourselves with. Joe Budden, who, if you don't know, famous rapper, maybe, I think. I'm not even sure. I personally only know the dude. My only real recollection or like visual memory of him was the video a while ago where he was in like a white t-shirt and just started chasing after a guy because he was recording him. Because, you know, life is Joe Budden, kind of rapper, podcast host on Spotify only, bisexual cultural influencer. Must just be pandemonium all the time. I couldn't imagine what life would be like if I was the 90th most popular Spotify podcast. That would be crazy. I can't compete with those numbers. Of course, I would lose my shit if some bozo is recording me, giving me free press, controlling any narrative that I am not controlling. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to act tough. I'm from Willingboro, New Jersey. Bro, I've been to Willingboro. I got people there. I have bombed horrifically as the only one who looks like me in and around Willingboro. So I'm very comfortable in saying the borough loves me more than Joe Budden. Simple fact. And I don't even have to pretend to be bisexual. Joe Budden, I know what you're doing. You're not bisexual. You've been with the same woman for what, almost a decade, and you have kids? Sure, you may dress like a bit of a metrosexual genie from time to time, but that passing flippant comment when discussing DaBaby and what he said about, you know, trans bathrooms or whatever the flying fuck for the 8th month in a row, makes some passing comment. The guy who's literally known and makes a living just for saying controversial shit for the sake of saying it, just says something like, hey, how do I spread the news? I like boys and girls. And while they were already talking, a conversation in which that dialogue easily could have been a character that was poorly acted out, and Joe just looked like a moody bitch. Also, you can't be a rapper, even if he's not still, even if he himself says he's not a rapper, you can't ever be a rapper whose first name is Joe. Are you fucking kidding me? Joe? The name that literally everyone uses as the placeholder for made-up funny nicknames. Joey Bag of Donuts. Joey Down by the Docks. Joey Spotify goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Tone, let me tell you something, Tone. I have, throughout the day, this thing where I just slip in to like a minor Sopranos character in my head. I don't even really do it out loud that much. But anytime I have to ask anyone a question throughout the day, I don't do this to them, but right before I speak in like my normal voice, which is very polite, semi-bitch-like, kind of like a really polite kid answering the phone, professionally at least, that's how I talk. In my mind, I'm walking up to someone, I'm like, what's up, Tone? What's up, boss? What do you need me to do? Hey, Tone, let me tell you something. You want me to go over there? And then eventually it starts to just fall off into like a Scarface at the end. It's really interesting. If you're going to have voices in your head, you might as well give some of them different voices, right? At least practice your impressions. I'm not going to do any more bad impressions, but just know I really wish I was better at them than I actually am. I would like to bring up China again and stop talking about Joe Budden's bisexuality because it's not real. China, on some China shit, made a big old grand Chinese proclamation that they're about to be real mean to anyone who is a diehard, quote-unquote, Taiwan independence person. That includes government officials, ambassadors, people just known to have any leanings for thinking the country of Taiwan should be allowed to exist. China was like, hey, anyone who thinks that we're going to have John Cena come kill you. That's it. That's all the China stuff I have for today. I'm done with that. But I just thought I would point out that China is also now threatening to just, on a very global and professionally facing point of view, just say, we'll murder people who think that thing. So, and they didn't say murder. Obviously, they would have spoken Chinese or used the Chinese word for murder. No, what they actually said was, to the fullest extent of the law, be reprimanded. But the thing about, communist governments is that the fullest extent of the law, when they refer to the law, at least here in this country, when someone says the law, it's like this thing that for the most part we have trust in the fact is kind of thought of and thought up by a lot of different people. It works, we'll check it, and then we'll figure out what it means in this situation. If you're a communist country, the fullest extent of the law is pretty much whatever you want. We'll write it down when we think of it. It's essentially an entire government where the whole legislative process is similar to a crazy person scribbling something on a bar napkin because they think they had a stroke of genius. You might think that's far off, but I'm pretty sure Mao or whoever the previous dude was, the real bad guy who was very well read, he read one too many books and decided burn them all. So these people can get these whims or thoughts or ideas, and then all of a sudden the laws are done, and now what's up? You got no books in China. You can't read, and now you can't. Fuck you. Fuck them. Fuck China. No, fuck them. Fuck a China. Fuck a China. Fuck Black China, the professional wrestler. What a hot take. I don't mean that. I really don't. I think she's dead even, really. I think Black China died of coronavirus. Black China is not... Oh my God. Black China is not the wrestler. She was the person who had a spite baby with the fat Kardashian. I got my Chinas confused. As did the main China with Taiwan. They got those two confused. All right, let's see. I got my obligatory fuck China out of the way. I brought up Joe Budden's bisexuality. Oh, another thing about Joe Budden. Joe Budden, hear me when I say this. I'm saying this personally, mano e mano. Colin Coyle to Joseph Raymond Budden. I don't know if that's your middle name. Sounds hilarious if it is. Your hometown of Willingboro, New Jersey, Joe, they don't even love you no more. And you know why? You know why that is? It's because they loved a boy. That's me. And I'm not even kind of saying this in a character. I'm saying this shit with my chest because it's true. Joe, I have ties to Willingboro, to that interesting ass part of central New Jersey full of single homes, but predominantly minority owned. Very interesting microcosm and little ecosystem that should be, looked at and paid attention to and appreciated. Joe, they don't fuck with you no more. You know why? Mike Zombie and all them fuck with the kid? That's because I made a goddamn fool out of myself for a couple years doing comedy shows, open mics that included people doing poetry about topics that I couldn't really relate to say it that way. I risked my life. Obviously, I didn't, but in my head, boy, did I think I was doing that. Scared out of my goddamn mind going to shows that were full, that people paid tickets to, that were selling food that was brought from someone's house in tinfoil, that was really a Hennessy-only bar, my type of shit. I performed there, and I've had some awful experiences. I've made some Chris Brown jokes a little too early and not fully fleshed out and lost the room, we could say. I have completely overstepped what I thought, was the bounds of play I was permitted by the group. But I've also taken some swings, and I've also really they've been received well. I've also had some of the greatest experiences doing stand-up or performing or just meeting people ever in Willingboro, New Jersey. One of them includes a time I ended up at a black lesbian bar. Turns out those are real. I honestly didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that's where I was going either. I thought I was going to an open mic. Turns out it was a bar full of black lesbians, one of them named Bucky Balboa, more about her later, and me and my friend Sean. Obviously, my first instinct, run to the men's restroom. It's the only place I'd be safe. Because the last thing all these young mobs were looking for was some dick. I could believe that when I tell you that. And that's all I have to offer, because you know me, slang and hog. I'm not that guy, but I wanted to try it, so just bear with me. So I'm in this bar, scared out of my mind. There's not a stage, but there is an open mic starting, and the open mic was literally a circle that just happened in the middle of the bar. No microphone that you were expected to just stand in and just, like you're Ray Lewis warming up a team to go play a football game or, cover up a murder. I'm like in the middle of a circle, expected to be like, whose house, or tell some funny story or really embrace the moment. I think I already shit my pants. But after I shit my pants, I had a moment of just like, fuck it. So I went off, told a story, just a story, not even a joke. None of the bullshit jokes that I strolled in with, because it turns out my crowd wasn't minority lesbians, believe it or not, even though I myself look a bit like a Pacific Northwestern lesbian, which is actually one of the funniest insults I've ever heard about me. It was one that actually made me chuckle, because I've heard them all. I've heard your red hair jokes. Congratulations, Ron Weasley. Do better. But the Pacific Northwestern lesbian thing kind of was funny. That cracked me up a little bit. It was so funny, I wrote it down in my diary. I went, "Dear diary, today someone made a joke, and my dad watched me shower, and now he's president. Oh, guess who went there? It's me." So Ashley Biden, a.k.a. Anne Frank of the Biden family, she had this diary purportedly. It's not exactly confirmed, at least. To me, I went and did some research. It sure looks like there is a diary available on archive.org. Who knows if it's real or not, if it's actually hers. It could just be some crazy bitch's diary who was just writing about the time her dad watched her shower and went on to become the United States president and vice president and have a son who also had a laptop full of his confessions stolen. Who knows? We can't rush to conclusions and confirm that this diary is real. But what we could do is put on our thinking caps, which I told you to keep nearby, told you were going to need them, and do a little deductive reasoning, because big news was that people associated with Project Veritas, and Project Veritas, just briefly to give you the overview, they're deemed a right-wing watchdog type of group. They definitely lean right-wing. I wouldn't say they're as right-wing in the way that people write about them being actually are. I know that was a lot of, vague, non-subject sentences, but I think that made sense. Notwithstanding the fact that at some point the guy who owns Blackwater helped them through the training of a former British spy hire people to specifically entrap on camera to generate the news that they themselves will break. So there is, to be fair, some pushback on their reputation. That being said, a while back, and they were never the ones to even publish what claims to be the diary now that's online that you could all fucking read. But they said they were approached by anonymous people with this diary, said it was Ashley Biden's, but they couldn't, get enough information to confirm it, so they couldn't publish it. And that's fine. Ends up online anyway because all things are inevitable. That is how things and inevitability work. Fast forward to just yesterday, FBI is raiding people's homes and offices, specifically in Manhattan, for Project Veritas in regards to an investigation currently open about a missing diary. Now, the FBI themselves obviously didn't say, hey, we're here looking for a girl's diary, that's why we're breaking in and being the FBI. It was, of course, after a break-in in the Biden home where a bunch of stuff was stolen, like pearls, gunpowder, dead animal masks, taxidermied things, and a diary detailing very normal behavior. And again, I myself do not know for a fact if the diary is even real, but there sure looks like there's a diary that sure looks real online, and it seems unlikely that the FB motherfucking I would be called to launch an investigation and break into offices looking for something that is not real. Because you cannot do that. You will not find it. And I realized that people will spend their entire lives sometimes looking for something that is not there. But the FBI won't. When you're dealing with things that are allocated money on a budget from a government which has never balanced one, You're not wasting time looking for esoteric diaries. You're looking for real ones, homie. That's just what it is and what it shall be, inshallah. So, who knows if the diary's real, but it turns out it is. Oh, man. Just when you think it couldn't get weirder, Corn Pop was a bad dude, and Joe Biden literally showered with his daughter. Obviously, it's creepy, not to make light of something that horrific and gross and heinous, but there is something kind of hilarious about the juxtaposition of the seriousness of these accusations levied against the Bidens, like smoking crack with children like Hunter was doing over in China before he started selling rose art paintings, or the fact that Joe, who has been caught on camera sniffing kids almost as much as he's been caught on camera falling asleep, but then all of these things are leaked or come out because the family members are just fucking forgetful. They're just fucking absent-minded dodo birds who might be evil as shit. But you just can't remember your laptop? Your dad's watching you shower, so let's make sure I write it down, date and time in my own handwriting? And then let that book of very detailed, horrific shit get stolen? First of all, don't keep a diary. It's gay. Sorry. You don't need a diary. You know what a diary is? It's a podcast. So, all right. Maybe that point was made against myself. But the point is, there hasn't been a diary worth keeping since Anne Frank's. And even that one debatable because we know what happened. For the love of God, how many points of view do we need? Great. She was a great writer. Tuberculosis is going to get everybody. This is probably a little over the line. But, the joke's not about her. Joe Biden, it's almost like I'm not even surprised. There is potentially a handwritten book detailing sexual abuse at the hands of a sitting United States president against his daughter. Those are the types of claims that get people absolutely killed. Whether let's say they're false and someone's making the claim, that's so salacious. That'll get you fucking murked, homie. Also, if you're making that claim and it is true, that will 100% get you killed unless, of course, the public, enough people know about it before you could end up in a single car crash or thrown off an embassy like the son of some Russian ambassador or whatever the fuck. Russians at least have a nice cold hard style in their assassinations. They'll throw you off a building and then say, he fell. What could we do? He fell. We can't catch him. We could push him. We can't catch him. Oh my God. This feels so serious and not serious at all. But it's serious because the FBI is showing up looking for it. And what's interesting is every article that you read online, the FBI was searching Veritas's offices in Manhattan. It was doing this, it was doing that. Not one of those articles claim any type of stance on whether the diary is real. Few of them even mention it or use the word diary. Some might have said journal. But if you said journal instead of diary, who you trying to impress? Those are the same people that spell gray with an E instead of an A. Who are you doing that for? It's like color with a U. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to point out to you or make the point that mainstream news might be a little skewed one way or the other. But something interesting that caught my eye over the last week was a little article that I found that explained that the giant fucking bill, and I don't understand bills that much. My extent of understanding bills is the fact that they're only bills and they're sitting there on Capitol Hill. Why don't you know, the Schoolhouse Rock shit? That's my extent, and I really just wanted to relive that memory in my head. But the new bill that Democrats are pushing through, that it's making its way with the trillions of dollars of spending or whatever the fuck, it includes a very interesting provision. And what this bill includes is the fact that local, quote-unquote, local journalists, which the definition is up to whoever is in charge at the time, this instance, Joe Biden and the Democrats. And I hate saying the Democrats out loud even, because I immediately, even to myself, sound like this person that I really don't think I am. But that being said, a part of this bill, which is trillions of dollars, which no one knows where the money is going to come from, could pull it out of the stock market, which is at an all-time high, despite the fact there is a record number of people not working. This bill includes a provision in which local journalists, whose definition is up to whoever's in charge, can receive tax credits, get this, equal to 50% of wages up to $12,500 per quarter per employee for the first 4 calendar quarters and a 30% credit for each calendar quarter thereafter. Essentially, what this means, what's part of this bill is the fact that government is now putting the media, outlets, journalists, TV nankers, anyone with an iPhone and a point of motherfucking view near Maryland on payroll. They're buying them. It's a good old-fashioned bribe, only now it's built into the law. So factoring in this missing diary, which may or may not be real, at least the FBI is looking for it. Now, all of the articles covering or explaining the FBI's public reveal that they're looking for a diary that may or may not be even real at all. All of these articles that are leaving out pretty key fucking details about this story, like the fact Joe liked to watch his daughter shower in Delaware. Holy shit, what a scene. These articles, this Yahoo News, this MSNBC, all these people, all these major news outlets could very well just be local journalists now. So they're on payroll. Leave out the fact the FBI leave out what the FBI is searching for. You're allowed to talk about them. You're allowed to talk about them going into this office of a journalist group that has a pretty cool fucking name, if you ask me. But I just need you to do me a favor and leave out the little detail of the story about why the fuck we're all there and why people are busting down doors, maybe. It's really funny, but more aptly on a real deeper level, really concerning. But it is kind of hilarious how evil this Biden family might be, how weird it is with all the crack smoking and the fake finger painting and the Chinese selling of influence and the marrying of deceased widows' brothers and fiancés and watching children shower and being associated with the state of Delaware, for Christ's sake. It's funny how all of this seems to be caused by their just forgetfulness, by their airheadedness, by their literal bozo-ness. You're leaving a paper trail of every crime you've ever committed, and at this point, you're starting to leave a paper trail of all the ones you have planned in the future, which is a new level of stupid. That's Scooby-Doo stupid. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling attorney generals. I'm just trying to watch my daughter shower. Why are you making it weird? Listen, I just want what's best for. Will you shut up, man? That's what the whole Biden's defense. That's what their ethos really is. Essentially, you could have hit them with any type of question, any point about any of the weird or nefarious or shady shit that they've done, like Joe Biden's crime bill, or the time he argued kind of lukewarmly at best for apartheid, or the fact that he's president now and his son is a reformed crackhead who sells paintings which are just bad. And don't get me wrong, most fine art is just bad and not real and just another thing for the wealthy to rinse and launder money on their walls. But he's still selling his paintings exclusively to China, our biggest enemy, a country who just said, hey, we're going to start, to the fullest extent of the law, murdering people who don't like what we like. A country who has John Cena on his side. You could ask anything at the Bidens, throw any question at him, any point, and their response is just, will you shut up, man? Will you shut up, man? Man, just shut up, man. Corn Pop was a real bad boy. You fucking senile pedophile. I don't know if that's I almost feel bad. I feel kind of weird that I'm just comfortable calling the current president a senile pedophile. I probably shouldn't be. It's probably a little reckless, but I don't think it's completely unfounded. I don't think, even if it's proven to be wrong what I'm saying, Could you blame me at this point? I mean, God, what could be ruled out at this point? What could you hear that you could completely rule out because it's just so unbelievable? I don't have anything left. I've, in fact, dropped trying to do that completely in my life not that long ago because you're never going to be surprised, but you're always going to be surprised. You know, it's weird. But what you shouldn't do is keep a diary, you fucking nerd. What you should have done is maybe, I don't know, said something to somebody, maybe got some help, maybe spoke to somebody, maybe asked literally anybody, hey, maybe ask some of your siblings like Bo or the pride of the Air Force, Hunter, hey, is it normal? Did Paul watch you shower? Fucking Dover, Delaware idiots. Nothing good has ever come out of Delaware. Maybe Ryan Phillippe. That movie Breach with Chris Cooper was pretty fucking good. Check it out. That was maybe the best thing to come out of Delaware, the first state. First state in my nuts. Now we're in Delaware. Now you're going to jail, hopefully. I don't know. Oh my God. Because it seems like there isn't even another option other than just Trump again. And I don't want that. No one wants that, really. Even the people who think they want that don't want that. They just don't want to get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. What are you, Aaron Rodgers? What are you, Kyrie Irving? Aaron Rodgers is refusing the vaccine after sneakily telling everyone he was immunized, not vaccinated earlier this year. Now he got COVID after telling everyone he was immunized, I don't know, who cares? And now everyone's like, oh, he lied. Oh, he's a bad guy or something. Who cares, man? Aaron Rodgers he's actually kind of fascinating. Like he's someone I want to hate with all my heart, but it's also kind of like, I like the fact that it looks like he doesn't give a shit about the NFL at all, but he's also phenomenal at football and clearly does when you watch him play. You can't be that good if you don't. But I imagine Aaron Rodgers is pretty much Ryan Gosling in Remember the Titans. And that, I mean, fully. But yeah, he said he was immunized, and he's married to Shailene Woodley, who was just like Clearance Jennifer Lawrence, who tried to do those lower knockoff Hunger Games spinoffs. But she's some bitch who's really into like sage and, you know, eating the skins of oranges to help you fight cholera and something to do with Rikiki and your chakras in your ass or something, you know, something weird like that. Someone who drinks stalk vegetables. So she probably was like burning incense and giving him a Reiki hand job and deemed him immunized now, henceforth. And Aaron, who just seems like a lifeless robot, almost kind of like Mark Zuckerberg in everything. I don't give a shit what you say about him. All of those Allstate commercials, he sounds so disinterested to the point where I don't know if he is awake. You know what I'm saying? There is something particularly dead behind the eyes about him, and I can't put my finger on it. But anytime a man wildly successful who doesn't speak to his family petitions to be the permanent host of Jeopardy and starts to grow out his hair and get into beanies in 2021 while also being a quarterback, that's a lot of different personalities that you have yet to settle on. And let me say, you're far too old to be pulling that shit. Shailene, shut the fuck up. Why don't you get a jab too? Why don't you? The funniest part of this whole story was Aaron brought up Joe Rogan as his chief medical counsel. In addition to Shailene Woodley, his wife, actress best known for the Divergent series, aka Not the Hunger Games, his other lead doctor who deemed him immunized was Joe Rogan. Told him about all the benefits of ivermectin, which, listen, I'm not a chemist. I'm not a doctor. I don't give a shit about your medicine, whatever. Did it work? Does it not work? I don't care. Who cares? I don't. I really, really don't. But it was kind of hilarious that, like, Aaron knew exactly what he was getting into because he was like, I'm not some flat earther, anti-vaxxer. Joe Rogan said this was okay, as if Joe Rogan is, like, the barometer of all things good and rational and logical. Joe Rogan, the other bisexual Spotify podcaster, who sucks now. Oh my God, it sucks. It was a big part of my life listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. It was really influential. It introduced me to a lot of different people, good and bad. And now it is just him talking to some professor of lifting heavy things who's the first trans person to do it at the University of Austin. You know, like, I don't need that. I don't need to hear that. It's ridiculous. Spotify, I hope you're happy and you're getting your money's worth with Joe and Joe. You should honestly make Joe Budden and Joe Rogan have their own podcast. You should call it the Joe Rogan Budden Experience. And that was dumb, and I don't have much more to offer about that. I think I peaked with calling Joe Rogan another by Spotify podcaster. That was probably the best joke in this little tangent. The funniest part of all this, at least to me, is this vaccine thing. I get we need to care. I'm not an apathetic person. I'm never going to preach apathy as a whole, just checking out and who gives a shit, because that's very easy, but it's a cop-out. But in terms of vaccines, whoever is going to get it has gotten it by now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get enforce, if you're a private business, enforce the rules you want to have and stuff, but like, you're going to let Aaron slide because you need to. You can't not have the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, who are probably the best team in the NFL right now. Aaron, who gets all the press all the time, despite having literally no personality at all. He is half the man Michael Strahan with if he could ever be, to be honest with you. But this vaccine thing, you're going to get it or you're going to not. And if you're going to bend the rules, that means you're not really taking them seriously in the first place. So then why do you have them? Who are they for? What's going on with it? And anyone putting up a fight and not getting the vaccine, we need to stop making a hero. Even if you're a literal moron, if you are a moron in need of an anti-vaxxing hero, looking up to a professional athlete still, come on, you're a grown man. Let that happen, you know? Just let it be. Some people are going to be morons. Can we just get on with the fucking football game? Can you know, we're not changing hearts anymore. It has been rolled out. At this point, if you're still denying the vaccine, depending on your job, you're literally fired. You're getting asked to leave if you're a police officer, certain government workers, anyone in a hospital. This is now happening. If you fucking Spirit Airlines or whatever, or fucking Southwest. Actually, Southwest bended at the knee because those fucking open mic comedians, stewardesses, were really doing their homework. And Southwest is a company that hears their employees. You know what I'm saying? That's a plug for Southwest Airlines. I know you need the press. Reach out. Let's talk. Dear Diary, today I partnered with Southwest Airlines. China's still a bitch. The Biden family, evil and dumb. And people should just get vaccinated. Or don't. But whatever you do, at least write it all down so somebody could find it. Idiot.